Okay, we are live. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Let's get into it. So, plenty I want to get talking about tonight. I guess we're going to start off with what I would call the sensationalist headline of the day, the one that we do put on the thumbnail just to capture everybody's attention, and it's out there for the exact same reason as why this is in the news to begin with. So, Frenkie De Jong wants to leave Barcelona. We have been here not once, not twice, but thrice. 3 consecutive summers. 3 consecutive summers, Frenkie de Jong is rumoured to leave Barcelona. 3 consecutive summers, Barcelona have no money and have to sell players. And 3 consecutive summers, Manchester United want a midfielder. And are we going to go out and sign ourselves Frenkie de Jong in this summer transfer window? I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know how we're in this position. Once again, look, I'm asking you guys in the poll what's more likely. Let me know your thoughts down below. When it's a little bit of a fun poll in today's stream, but for me, there is absolutely no chance of us going in for Frenkie De Jong. I think we've learned the lesson. I think we surely by this point, the people running this football club. Let me just move this a second. The people running this football club, they're meant to be a lot more competent now. We have Ineos in. Surely they're going to look at it and say, look, we've as a club have chased Frenkie De Jong not for one, not for 2 summers. Are we going to go in for a third time for Frenkie De Jong? Of all people, I really would be absolutely stunned if that was the case. Look, guys, it could happen. Let me know your thoughts on that one down below. I think much more likely, and the real story that we do want to get talking about at some point is going to be Kobbie Mainoo. So Kobbie Mainoo, as we know, breakthrough star of the season at Manchester United, and it does look like he's going to be offered a new contract. Now, I'm assuming that Mainoo will still be on his pro contract that he signed when he was promoted in the academy. I'm assuming he's still on that to this day. So there's definitely grounds to give Kobbie Mainoo a new contract. Has he earned it? He probably has. Is he a first team player now? He definitely is. Will it impact his performances? Hopefully not. And let's just make sure we take care of everything and do everything in a proper way, and we don't get silly and don't get ahead of ourselves. Jarl says, how many people have forgotten we have a 29% owner of the club? He is one of the most successful businessmen in England who wants to build a new stadium. He will build a new stadium. Oh, I think that's in relation to what Stephen was saying. Unless the Glazers invest with Radcliffe and Ineos, how will Old Trafford be renovated or rebuilt? I'm sure there's a way to do it. I'm positive there will be. I have no concern about that. I have no concern about money at the moment for this club. I just have concerns about what way we're going to go in the upcoming transfer window. I think so much is unknown, and that's exciting, and it's both a little bit terrifying as well at times, because it is a lot of change. And let's just hope that we start to go in the right ways, and the unknown will be an exciting couple of months ahead of us. Let's get talking about what we do know, and that is we have a big match on Sunday against Aston Villa. We are offering Kobbie Mainoo a new contract. Frenkie De Jong might be leaving Barcelona, but even at that, is he going to come to United? Are we going to do this to ourselves again? I don't want to do Frenkie comes to Manchester round 3. I really don't want to be in this position anyway. I remember the original Frenkie De Jong saga. I don't think any of us want to go back to that. And look, it's nothing against him as a player. I think he's brilliant. I think he's a top quality player. I really do. And I think he comes in and he would really improve that midfield area. But I just don't think Frenkie De Jong this summer or any summer is going to come to Manchester United. But that's my predictions. Look, I might get wrong on that one. Rajat wants a new stadium. We will touch more on the stadium. That's an ongoing story, and that will be an ongoing story until an official announcement is made as to what we're going to be doing with the stadium in the first place. But I would expect that to come at some point as well. Look, I think it's kind of interesting that so many people have different views on the stadium, and I like that. I like the fact that everyone has their own opinion. Because, look, I think it's different than players. It's different than a manager. It's different than an owner. Old Trafford's an intrinsic part of Manchester United, of the fabric of this football club. And it affects all of us, whether we are match-going fans every week, whether we go a couple of times a year, whether we only get to go a couple of times in our lifetime, or if we only get to go once. It is something that affects and binds everyone to the club, and it is the physical manifestation of what our football club is all about. And Old Trafford's decline in the last 15, 20 years is basically underpinned by United's own decline in the last 15, 20 years. And it is very symbolic in that nature. Is it time for a new stadium? I'm not too sure. I think there's definitely big arguments for it. There really is. And ultimately, it's going to be down to the powers that be, Ineos and Sir Jim Radcliffe, as to what we're going to do with Old Trafford. I've got some comments to go through in the chat from Jarl as well. De Jong will never play for United. Why would he come to a club without Champions League? I see him going to Arsenal or an Italian club, maybe PSG, but not United. Ineos earn 69 billion a year. They can build it themselves, but getting extra funding for it is wise. No, I agree with that as well. They'll get extra funding for it. I'm positive of that, and it probably won't be a straight cash buy either. It might be taking out a loan or something that they can easily pay off over a number of years. Businesses tend to operate in that kind of way. Debt for a business of Ineos is a lot different than it is for us as just regular people, so that's no real concern of mine. Obviously, look, it's going to be a big call whatever happens with our stadium, and it's going to affect each and every single person. It's going to be so important to what Manchester United do, because Old Trafford is part of the history of this club. It ties us to it. It's the same stadium that my dad went to. It's the same stadium that we've won trebles at. It's the same stadium we saw the Busby Babes play at. Obviously, things have changed, things have altered, and there's been massive renovations over the years. No one's going to deny that. But it is a link between generations of fans, and it always has been. Rajat says, hope United build 85 or 90 million for De Jong. Barcelona will want to sell. Barcelona have to sell. Look, their financials are genuinely catastrophic at the moment, so they're going to have to sell somebody. I don't know what Barcelona is going to do. That's why they're pushing so hard for this Super League, because they're broke as an institution. They do not have any money, and they might even lose some players who they've brought in this year. I think Victor Roque could be one who ends up having to leave or not be registered for next season. Big ups to Luman for joining in. Thank you, Luman. Much appreciated. And yeah, look, guys, De Jong's not the one for me. Like, I think season 1, Ten Hag, that was the time to bring De Jong in. I'm glad we tried for it. I really like the player. I think he would have been an absolutely fantastic signing and exactly what we needed in midfield at the time. But I think it's time to move on ahead and get past that there at some point. Jarl says, Barca have to sell this summer. They're about to be kicked out of Champions League for failing the FFP rules to compete. De Jong will be tossed to the Wolves again. Yeah, look, he will. And it's one of those things. It's like what happens in that case. Like, how can he still be loyal to a club that have tried to ditch him and throw him off to any buyer for the last 2 seasons? Obviously, it's the club of his dreams, but obviously, at the moment, it's a little bit of a nightmare for Frenkie De Jong. Anyway, so we'll get moving on really quickly, and I guess we'll talk about Kobbie Mainoo's potential new contract. Exciting times. Does kind of show that he is... It does kind of show that he is seen as first team player now. And I don't think that's any kind of revelation to anybody. I don't think that's any kind of massive news, but there is stories coming out about this. I think it's something we have to handle well to keep the guy grounded, to keep him focused. But Manchester United are advancing in talks. Now, look, this is coming in from Fabrizio Romano, so pretty reliable source. I've got bath time, OMG, Frenkie De Jong. Yes, man. So we're basically reacting to the initial story came out, I think it's from Revelo, that Spanish outlet, and they said that Frenkie De Jong is set to leave Barcelona in this summer. And of course, the next words that come out of everyone's mouth is Frenkie De Jong. Look, we can see how seriously I'm taking it by the poll question. So what do you guys think's more likely? We're winning the league this season, De Jong signs, or Joel and Avram put a single penny into the club? Let me know what is more likely down there. It is good to see it though. Bath time. Rajat goes play Rashford at the striker. He will split centre backs who got no pace. I'm not a big fan of Rashford through the middle. I'm really not. Rajat said give Manu no more than 50k. Yeah, look, you want to keep people grounded. You don't want to be giving young players maybe going from a couple of thousand a week to like 200,000 a week. You don't want to make that jump so soon. And I'm sure that the contract will reflect that. This is coming in from Fabrizio Romano anyway. He says, this week the two parties have held discussion about the fresh terms and are advancing towards an agreement. United will offer Mainoo a significant pay reward to reward him for the great performances and ensure he remains a crucial part of the team for many years to come. His current deal is worth £10,000 per week and runs until the June 2027 season, and a new deal will likely last until summer 2028 and could see a pay rise up to around £50,000 per week, which is what fellow academy graduate Alejandro Garnacho earned. So I think that's a fair enough kind of ballpark to put that sort of fee into. Bath Time says, if we pay Kobbie, I hope we pay him in the right position for once. Yeah, look, you do. Bath Time says, blue cards over Frenkie De Jong. Yeah, look, I don't want to do this thrice. I've been here. We've done this so many times. I thought we were getting him that first season. It never happened. Barcelona, I mean, genuinely, with Barcelona, like, I would be happy just to let that club rot anyway, genuinely. Man Utd is 10k per week sufficient in the UK? Yes. That's that's about what, maybe like half of what I earn in a year. Maybe slightly less. It's not. It's a lot. It is a lot. And look, for an 18-year-old kid, I'm positive Kobbie Mainoo is not strapped for cash. I'm positive he's not asking his mum and dad for a loan, or for £5 to run down to the shop or anything. I'm sure he's well past that point. Jarl says, I think Garnacho's on 50k per week, so Mainoo on 10k per the moment. I think he'll get a 50k to 75k. Bath Time says they're just Spanish Scousers. Depends who you ask, because many in Barcelona would say they're Catalonian, but will not get drawn into politics on the channel here. We will get talking about football, though. That's what we want to talk about. And I guess we'll have a look at the upcoming match for the weekend anyway. And that is Aston Villa. Going to be an interesting one. Going to be an interesting match for sure. Like, Villa have been very good at home all season. I think they won 15 in a row or something like that. And then in the last match, they lost against Chelsea. I think they might have lost at the weekend. No, actually, sorry, they beat Sheffield United at the weekend. What am I talking about? But yeah, look, Villa's going to be an interesting team to try to stop. And they got goals in them. They got threats all across. Something that Villa do really well now, for anyone who hasn't watched a lot of Villa this season, is their extensive use of the offside trap might be something that they use to try to frustrate the likes of Højlund, Garnacho and Rashford. Now, it will mean that there will be space behind there to hit, because they will step up and they will try to play that offside trap. Can we spring it? Yeah. Will we lose our heads? Probably. And it could be one of those matches, because my concern is, look, when we play Casemiro and when we play Bruno Fernandes, you got two players there who are very prone to what is informally known as hero balls. So essentially long balls over the top, trying to play these sensational 50, 60-yard passes. And I do kind of fear that if they see that open space behind the Villa backline and they try to play it forward, that they're just going to end up falling into this trap time and time again. So it has to be quality. It has to be done in the right way. So hopefully we can exploit it. I'm sure Villa will bring their own threats. Ollie Watkins will be a danger as always. And they have some really solid players from there. Leon Bailey playing really well. Diaby, they've got John McGinn, solid midfielder. Tielemans in there. Douglas Luiz, Boubacar Kamara. So it's a very solid team. Good goalkeeper, of course, as well. So Villa will be kind of up for this, but they have lost the last two at home. They lost against Newcastle 3-1. They lost against Chelsea 3-1. Can we stick three past them at the weekend? That could be quite an achievement. But look, Villa's no pushover. They're absolutely no pushover. They almost had us beat at Old Trafford. It wasn't for a fantastic comeback in the second half of that match. We would have lost. But certainly, look, they're going to pose threats. They're going to be an interesting team to deal with at the weekend. We have to be able to do that. Bath Time, Real Oviedo should be everyone's favourite Spanish team. And Bath Time says, it's where my family is from in Spain. Nice one. Yeah, actually, I knew I recognized Real Oviedo from somewhere as well. Bath Time says, any Digne news? Game at Old Trafford was on him getting injured, and he was 50-50 earlier in the weekend to start. Good shout that, Bath Time. Let me see. Lucas Digne. Let me see what the issues are with him. Maybe Emery's been speaking. Let me double check because obviously he is a good fullback. Um, let's see. Um, there's pressure. There's really little about Digne at the minute. Rajak says Diaby is kind of overrated. Yeah, look, he's. I actually think he is good, and there's a lot of positives in his game. I think Leon Bailey's maybe been better this season. Um, let me see, bath time. Looks like he's got a shoulder injury at the moment. I'll see if Emery's been speaking about it in his press conference today. Maybe we can get something kind of interesting here. Let me see. Dinya. There we go. Man Utd. Lucky comment. That's what is Lucky saying. Amadou Onana he wants in the summer. I would like Amadou Onana. I would. Um, let me see bath time. So, according to Villa, Unai Emery has confirmed that both Lucas Digne and Pau Torres will be in contention for selection on Sunday, but he hasn't given any confirmation. So it could be on the bench, potentially. But I mean, Digne is a pretty solid fullback. I'm not seeing too much in terms of him actually starting, but it might still be Moreno. I think, look, if he's in contention on Friday, I will be surprised if he starts against United on Sunday. Maybe a bench option there, but certainly, look, I think it's better for us if Alex Moreno is playing left back. Bath Time says, was it then Donker that came on for him and played like a donkey? It might have been. It could have been. Rashad said we're looking at Robbie and Sesko at centre forward. I don't think we are. And the reason I say this is because I think when we look at profiles, and profiles is going to be a keyword that I'm going to be banging on about for the next couple of months, really, when we're going into this rebuild. Got plenty of videos and stuff coming up on this. But when we're talking about profiles, we have to look at what we've got. We've got Rasmus Højlund, who is starting to kick on now. He's got 10 goals, looking really, really impressive. And Højlund is such a good all-round player. The outside of the box work that he is capable of is really good. And he's been a player this season who the more service and the more ball he actually gets, the more he does with it. I think when you look at profiles, you maybe want to see a more experienced striker brought in. Now, look, I think Sesko's fantastic. I think Robbie, he could be okay. I think Evan Ferguson's fantastic. But I'm kind of looking at it from the point of view that we have a 21-year-old striker who we paid £70 million for last year. Are we going to go out and sign another highly rated, very high potential, but very young player in that same position? I don't think so. I think we might go more experience with it, which is interesting because there was options we could have went for last year. We could have went for Marcus Thuram on a free transfer, which mightn't have been a bad idea in hindsight. But he certainly is more of a second striker type. But he could be a good link-up player to have alongside Højlund if we ever wanted to play two up top. I think there is other examples out there who we could go for, but I do think we'll go for goals. Bath time goes really good. He's regularly lost possession over 15 times because his hold-up play is dubious at championship level. Are we talking Højlund here? I'm not. I've no concern about Højlund at all, man. I really, really don't. I'm looking at it from the point of view that this guy's at that level of play at the age of 21. I'm thinking in terms of an upward trajectory. You're looking at a player with frightening talent and frightening ability. And look at his size, with his finishing ability, his ability to run with it. I have no concerns whatsoever about Højlund. Even when he wasn't scoring, I was still saying the same thing. Rajat says Vlahovic will be slow for the England. He's not particularly quick. I like Vlahovic, but I've seen enough of him at Juventus to maybe suggest that he's not the right fit for us. Bathan goes, yeah, Rasmus, he lets the ball bounce too much. I think that's something he will learn in his own game. I think you're seeing a bit of a move away in his game regardless, because he's kind of gone from trying to have a hold-up play and fighting off centre-backs to actually getting onto the ball more in recent matches, which does seem to be helping. I haven't got the exact stats there to reflect that, but I will have to pull that up. He stopped tackling his own teammates in the box. Rajat says, who's our midfield? Louise, Tielemans and McGinn. It depends what they go for, because typically Kamara plays in there as well. John McGinn's almost been playing at times as like a left inside forward. It's kind of that role that he would sometimes play for Scotland. Sometimes they would play McTominay on the right and McGinn on the left and use them both as kind of like box crashers. But it's a solid team. It's a solid midfield. Douglas Luiz's been really good this season, as has Kamara when he's played. And look, with those players back, I do fear for the midfield, and there certainly is elements of concern. I would say, I would say that midfield control is going to be important in this one. Can we get that out of Casemiro? Can we get that out of Bruno Fernandes in this match? I guess time will tell, of course, but there definitely are elements of hero ball in this team, and we are very prone to slipping into that, especially when things might not be going our way. So it's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Jarl says Vlahovic needs to be fed the ball to be effective. We are one of the worst teams in feeding the striker and producing good chances for him. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really played without we haven't really played with a number 9 for several years. An out and out number 9, shall we say. I think when we're talking with Rasmus Højlund, you can see the teething difficulties we're having with that, and we've had that quite a few times already this season. But I do think that I do think we're kind of getting there a little bit with it. Maybe not to the level we would want, but certainly I think we're getting better at it. And it's just about how we develop that across the rest of the season, because I still don't think Højlund's getting enough chances. You want to have maybe 3 or 4 chances for your striker a match. Let me just check one thing here. But yeah, look, I've no fear with Højlund. Back time goes Ronaldo, Cavani. See, again, man, what I would say is, if we're looking in terms of proper number 9s, Ronaldo was never really a traditional number 9 in that kind of sense. I know he occupied those areas, but he wasn't. He did always kind of drift over to the left hand side. Yes, Cavani a proper number 9, absolutely. Zlatan proper number 9, but I'm talking about in the last couple of seasons, it's very much been either Anthony Martial playing there, Marcus Rashford coming into those kind of areas. That's what it was last season. That's what it was the season before as well. So there certainly is that kind of teething issues that we have had in terms of having a genuine number 9 out there anyway. But I'm not too concerned at the moment. Rajat says Højlund is improving the link-up play. Yeah, I mean, I can see elements of it. I've got an interesting DM here, actually, from Rebel, if anyone's interested in a story. This coming in from Miss... It's about Norman Whiteside, actually. It says, so it doesn't matter how long you've been a loyal supporter. Doesn't matter if you play for the club. United can just dump your seat when they feel like it, so they can expand the executive seating. An absolute disgrace. So Norman Whiteside has lost his seat as a season ticket holder to expand the corporate seating, which I'm sure it's not a good look for us, really. What have we got? Rajat goes, he was like a centre forward at Madrid. Even at that, like, I don't think he was a traditional number 9 in many senses, even if he picked up in those kind of central areas, or if that's at least where his starting position was. Yes, he tended to come outside to in to get on to the end of those. But for the most part of Madrid, Ronaldo was playing on the left-hand side with Karim Benzema through the middle, and Benzema had a pretty sacrificial job to do. Chat Sport is in the comments. Good to see you, chat. How's it going, man? And I think I've got something as well. I'm gonna miss a couple of comments here. Jarl Sesko is the target. Robbie was a Ten Hag madness in January, but we were broke. Yeah, look, we absolutely were, man. I can't go on enough about that. Anyway, what have I got? Lucky Singh is saying as well, I like passing between the strikers. Yeah, look, I think that's important. You do want to see link up between your players. Look, I think, sorry, just to go back to the whole notion about centre forwards. I think what we want to see is different profiles, and that's what I would go on about. I would like to see a more experienced player brought in. I get, from a profile point of view, someone like Xerxes works quite well in relation to what we have, and being an alternative, but I'm not 100% convinced on that anyway. I think he's a really good player and having a really top season at Bologna, but I think the upcoming transfer window is going to be an interesting one. Look, we will get back on track really quickly here and get talking about what we actually came out here to talk about as well, and that was Aston Villa versus Manchester United. So, again, Villa, they're ahead of us in the league at this moment in time. I believe they're 4th place currently, so that would put them probably about 10 points clear of Manchester United at this moment in time. It might be 10 or it might be 8. Let me just double check. Hopefully it's 8. Hopefully it's not as big a distance as I was fearing. Let's see. Yeah, so United 38, Aston Villa 46. If we win this match, we're 5 points off them. We would have beaten them home and away this season. So it's not facing Aston Villa that has us 8 points off top 4. We know this already, but we have to go out here with a genuine good performance on Sunday, and we're going to have to be playing at a high level to beat Aston Villa. Look, Newcastle have done it. Chelsea have done it in the last couple of weeks. It can be done. We can go out there and win this match, but it's going to be difficult. And from a stylistic point of view, it's going to be an interesting clash because Villa are a very good multi-purpose team. They can do you with possession, but they're not afraid to go long. They're not afraid to go over the top with it, and they're not afraid to hit the space in behind your back line. Without Lisandro Martinez, do I have fears for our defending of those wide areas? Yes. Certainly if it's Harry Maguire in there, or if it's Raphael Varane, Johnny Evans especially. If they're going up against Ollie Watkins in those channels, that's a cause for concern. So we're going to have to be smart with it. Villa will be looking for cutbacks as well, something we've struggled to defend all season, and that's a stylistic approach anyway. But I think it's really important that we go out and deal with that in that in that way as far as possible, so that we can give ourselves a platform in order to build upon. Now, is there ways we can hit Villa? Yes, you've got to turn their strengths into their weaknesses. We have to go after that offside trap if we can, try to get into that space behind them. They will catch us offside several times, no doubt about it. There will be a threat from set pieces. They scored twice at Old Trafford from set pieces, so we have to be ready for this one, and we have to be able to cope with what they have, bring our own quality, and hopefully we can shine out and manage to get a win. Rajat is down there. How about we get Juan Fran at right back? Juan Fran. Oh man, like if we're going back into these old teams, like I don't know, is Gabby still kicking about? Is Thiago still knocking about that Aston Villa team? I don't know. We're not going for Juan Fran. Don't worry, guys. I do actually have some interesting points that I would like to bring up, and it's a little bit more technical for anyone who does like that side of the game. I think you'll enjoy this. Let me quickly load it up anyway. But Villa will be an interesting prospect at Old Trafford. Something that they're very good at doing, and something that they will bring in quite often, is that they're looking for offside triggers throughout the match. Now, can we play through that? Yes, we can, but their offside trap is very good. And look, you'll hear me banging on about this. Just some numbers in terms of the actual offside traps. So these stats are coming from as of January the 28th. So Aston Villa have recorded 110 offsides, which is almost double in terms of the actual Premier League. So they're by far and away at the top of that offside trap. Really, really effective offside trap. And they will be looking for that throughout the match. In terms of the Premier League lines, their average line height is 30.3 meters, which is the second highest in the league. So there is space. They're good at catching you on the break, but there is that space to attack. Look at the goals we scored against Aston Villa. You will see that we can attack those areas. We probably should have scored more against Villa at Old Trafford, but we've got to get going in this one. We have to be targeting these spaces. If we work it well, we have the players to find the runners, and we have the runners with the pace to get in behind them. But it's about picking out those triggers. They will be sitting on the halfway line. They will try to squeeze us from time to time. But with Højlund, with Garnacho, with Rashford, we got the pace in behind there. We can use it. We can use it. Absolutely, we can. And they will try to implement that against us in the first place. But certainly, look, they're an effective team. They're a team that's done really well this season. Obviously, continuing to do so across this campaign and last campaign, really have been a genuine top quality team under Unai Emery, and he's done a fantastic job there. No doubt about it. But it's going to be up to Manchester United to go out and solve it. It's going to be up to us to answer the issues there, but they will bring threats. They will be dangerous from set pieces. We know we have the problems with dealing with set pieces in the first place. Villa definitely will be coming at us with everything they got. Rajat said it's hard to believe rumours when they didn't confirm the Jim's stake at the club. Jim's stake is very close to being confirmed. The SEC filings have been made. We have done that side of it. So from a legal point of view, the only thing we're waiting for is Premier League ratification, which should come very soon. From that, you'll see, of course, directors of football appointed. That all will feed into each other. Once we get the ratification, we can make those big calls in the first place. And make those big decisions. That's where it said we will beat United beat Villa 3-1. I mean, look, Villa have lost how many matches this season? Let me see, because it's kind of weird how many times they've lost by conceding 3 goals. It is kind of odd, because look, they lost against Chelsea midweek 3-1. They were beat the week before that by Newcastle 3-1. Then of course Aston Villa were also beat by Manchester United 3-2. They were then beaten by Tottenham 3-1. So, I mean, it is kind of funny when they do seem to lose matches. They do seem to concede 3 goals. I don't know what it is. Beat by Liverpool 3-0 this season. But look, they're going to be a dangerous team to deal with. They're going to be a team that's going to cause us a lot of issues going forward. Guys, drop a like on the video if you can, and would really appreciate it. Really helps the channel out and helps the video as well. But yeah, look, it's gonna be a big match at the weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I have to say, it's been a while since United have been in action. Been a while since the matches, since the last match. I think on Sunday. I mean, these weeks between matches, they sound really good on paper, like they do, for the squad fitness and for recovery levels. But I mean, man, it's kind of boring without the midweek matches. Will be good to see them going once they come back into it anyway. But certainly, look, next couple of weeks going to be key in this season. I've been banging on about these fixtures coming up in the next few weeks for a while. Chatsport said put Rashford and Rasmus on the high line. Yeah, absolutely. Garnacho, Højlund, Rashford. Let's see if we can exploit that. Big ups to Stephanie. Thank you very much for joining in. Don't worry about being late. We were just talking about the match coming up at the weekend, Aston Villa. And the other guys, look, I've been banging on about these fixtures for a very long time, but they are upon us now. And it's crunch time. It is key time of the season, and we play Villa on Sunday. We play Luton the week after that. We play Fulham. We play Forest. That's the next 4 matches. Then we play City. That's 5. We play Everton is 6. Brentford is 7. Chelsea is 8. Liverpool is 9. And Newcastle's 10. Those next 10 matches are season defining. We are playing the biggest rivals we have. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Rajat says, what centre mid targets are we looking at? I'm not too sure who we're looking at. I know who we should be looking at. I think we should be looking at Onana, or we should be looking at Mats Pfeiffer in terms of profiles. What you want is a nice balanced midfield. That's something I like. That's something I want, and I think once I get the video out, hopefully by Sunday, what was that? Hopefully by Sunday, we can see what I'm looking for in the midfield. But I want balance. I want as much key areas ticked off as possible. So in terms of forward passes, progressive passes, high volume passes, dual winning percentage, distance covered, ball carrying, these are all things I want to see covered within the midfield, because we have some players who are very good at certain aspects, but we don't have a midfield capable that we can really line out that covers all bases. And that for me is a frustration. You think about Eriksen, Bruno, and Mount. You've 3 kind of similar players there. Obviously, look, they've got different strengths as well. But in terms of their overall profile, you're not going to get the elite ball carrying out of them. You're not going to get the high volume progressive passes. You're not going to get the high volume of passes completed sometimes. Between Mainoo and McTominay and Casemiro, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff as well. We want balance. We want something that encompasses as much aspects of the match and the game as possible in that midfield. That's what we really want. I think some of the best midfields out there are some of the most balanced. And that goes across the board. Best midfield will cover the most bases throughout. I think, look, I mean, you only have to look at like Real Madrid. Real Madrid's Walker Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Toni Kroos, and Jude Bellingham. They've pretty much got everything in that midfield, covering all aspects of it, and that's why they've been pretty good this season. And that's why they'll be pretty good next season as well. That's what we need to be doing. Lucky Singh has been commenting United will practice tomorrow in the training. Back 4 of Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Varane. I would probably say Dillo is going to come in there as well. Wan-Bissaka seems to be injured. Lucky says, Dallo, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, Varane is the best backline we can put out. Harry Maguire, we need to be strong in the air. Yeah, we do. I agree with Lucky as well. I think we've got to be strong in the air in this one. Villa came to Old Trafford. They scored twice from set pieces. We can't be doing the same again. Steph says, got to keep winning. Ten Hag, correct. Every game is a cup final till the end of the season. But we should like that. One match from these players can be so frustrating. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Steph. We have to check this as every match being a cup final. It's not what we want. It's not the position we want to be in. I would love it if we could say, if we win the matches between now and April, then it doesn't really matter how the rest of the season goes because we'll have achieved our objectives, or we could end up being in a position where we're having to win every match to go for a trophy. But we're having to win every match to finish where we need to in the league to have a good summer in terms of money spent. That's not where we started off this season. I don't think any of us expected genuinely in the summer that we would have such a massive regression this season. And that's a big frustration. But look, there certainly has seemed to have been a little bit of a bounce in recent weeks. Obviously, look, we beat West Ham, we beat Wolves, we beat Newport County, drew with Tottenham, beat Wigan, and then obviously we lost to Forest over the Christmas break. But we are unbeaten in this calendar year. Let's keep that going against Aston Villa at the weekend. And look, if we can win that match, even better. I think you're going to have the space to attack. It's about whether or not we can make it work, because Villa will play a risky game. They will play that high line. They will play to try catch us offside. We have the players, we have the runners, and we have the speed to get in behind them. We got players in Bruno Fernandes who can pick out those runs. It's about whether or not we can do it. It's a game of cat and mouse. It's a game of twist and stick at times, and we got to be playing it right, because Villa will catch us offside several times in the match, but we got to time those runs properly. We know what VAR is going to be like already. We know that if Rasmus Højlund's eyelash is offside, if Garnacho's elbow is offside, they will be giving that against us. So it's about being careful with that one. Dark Rose says the Villa manager will defeat Ten Hag tactically. I mean, look, Unai Emery's a top manager. Make no mistake about it. Aston Villa is the perfect kind of level for Emery. It's a team where he can take them to the next level without having the weight of expectations of a massive club that he did have at Arsenal, or he did have at PSG. It's why he excelled when he went to Villarreal. It's why he's excelling at Aston Villa. He has the tools to finish high up the league table without the expectation or without that demand from the players and from the fans. Aston Villa will come with lots of different threats in this match. They can play possession-based football. They can be hard to break down. They can catch us on the break. They can go in the air. They're a multi-tool team. They've got multiple different options and multiple different ways they can attack us. So it's about having a balance in midfield. It's about not getting overrun, because if McGinn plays left inside forward, he will drop back and you will kind of get outnumbered in midfield sometimes with Tielemans, Kamara, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn there, so it could be a 4v3 at times. We're going to have to deal with that. But of course, as we know, there's only 11 players on the pitch. There will be space somewhere, and it's about attacking that space as always. Football's a very simple game, a really simple game. It's about attacking the space, and it's about using the space. That's fundamentally what we're looking at here. There's always going to be space somewhere on the pitch. It's about how we use it. Against Aston Villa, that space will change throughout the match. Sometimes it will be behind their defensive line. Sometimes it will be in front of their defensive line. Sometimes it'll be between their attack and their midfield. We got to use it to the best of our abilities. Have to be really good on possession. Have to be really tidy with the ball. They can press us. They can nick the ball off us. They've got the pace to hurt us on the break. They've got the height to hurt us in the air. And we have to be ready for it. Absolutely. Stephanie says, feeling more confident, Casemiro and Mainoo will give us a solid platform in midfield despite Lisandro Martinez missing. Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Look, Leach is going to be a big miss. Absolutely massive miss for this team. Such an important player in terms of what we do. If you want to get into numbers, you're looking at, in my opinion, one of the best ball-playing centre-backs in world football. And the way Lisandro Martinez plays with the ball is very unique. So it's a high level to replicate. It's almost an impossible profile to replicate because of what he gives you off the ball, in terms of his defensive work, in terms of his mentality, in terms of what he brings to the side, it's almost impossible to replicate. I mean, I don't know if we can replicate it, but we have to go close. We have to find a way to do it. And getting that back line right is so important. So important. So I'm expecting, look, I'll run through my team anyway. Let me see. No, I didn't. I didn't make up the graphic before it came on. So I'll run through my team. This is what I think we're going to be going for. It's going to be Onana in goals. Whether we like it, whether we don't, it will be Onana. At right back, it's going to be Dalot because Aaron Wan-Bissaka is injured. There's nobody else. He will play. And he's been playing very well in recent weeks. It'll be Varane. It will be Harry Maguire. It will be Luke Shaw. That will be the midfield. Sorry, that will be the back line. And then we go into midfield. It will be Casemiro. It will be Mainoo. It will be Bruno. We go into the attacking line. It will be Højlund. It will be Rashford. And hopefully it's going to be Garnacho. Hopefully it's not Antony. I would be very surprised if it was Antony. Garnacho, 2 goals in the last match, playing really well at the moment. I think he will be featuring in this one. Be really surprised if he didn't. So that's my predicted team. I think we got the tools in there to deal with Aston Villa. I think we got the tools in there to hurt them on the break. I think we got the tools there to exploit their high line. And we've got the informed players in Garnacho and Højlund who hopefully can find the back of the net. Look, beating Emi Martinez will be a difficult task. He is a good goalkeeper. It's about staying calm. It's about being focused. It's about getting the goals. I find it very unlikely that we're going to keep a clean sheet in this match. I really do. Between our own defensive fragilities, between Aston Villa scoring a lot of goals, they will score. Make no mistake about it. Let me just double check this here. Yeah, look, so Aston Villa, in terms of 0-0s this season, 0-0 in Chelsea in the FA Cup, 0-0 with Everton. But apart from that, the last time that Aston Villa were nilled in the Premier League, I think you have to go back to Liverpool potentially in September. So I think he might not get a lot of minutes in the upcoming matches. We have some really big ones anyway. Who we playing? We play City. We play Fulham. We play Luton Town. I mean, Luton Town maybe, but I mean, Luton away has been a very difficult place for all teams to go this season. Been no different for us at all. We got Brentford, we got Liverpool, Chelsea, we have Newcastle United. Not going to be a lot of matches where I think Amad Diallo is going to feature unless we have injuries or unless we have a dramatic drop off in form from Garnacho as well. I think the forward line's got to pick itself for most of the season at this point. I think it will be Rashford, it will be Højlund, it will be Garnacho. But look, that's my thoughts. Look, guys, we'll go back to the main story tonight anyway. It's Frenkie De Jong. It can't happen, can it? We're not going to go back to this again. This will be the 3rd summer in a row that we've gone for this guy. We're not going to do this, surely. Surely this is not going to happen. Or is it? I don't know. According to Revelo anyway, the Spanish outlet, they had said that Barcelona are in a position where Frenkie De Jong will have to be sold in this upcoming window. He has communicated with his team he would like to leave the club. I don't think his move to Barca is going to plan. I think he wanted to be there possibly for the rest of his career. A lot of players who come through in the Netherlands at Ajax want to follow in the footsteps of Johan Cruyff and go and play for Barcelona. That is a fact. That is a fundamental part of that. The link between Ajax and Barcelona is a long-running one. But it's not turned out to be what Frenkie De Jong wanted. At times he's played centre-back, at times he's been out of the team, at times they've tried to sell him on to anyone who will buy him at all. Chatsport said, is this Frankie's last year of his contract? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think he's out in the summer. He might be out next summer potentially, but look, I think when we look at Frenkie De Jong, you've got a hell of a player there. You've a really, really good player, but he's not the one. I just can't see us getting him at this point in time. I don't think we're going to go back in for him. Just for, I think it was Chatsport, De Jong's contract ends in mid-2026. So this would be 2 years really. This would be the last year where Barcelona can really cash in. And look, they need money. Barcelona find themselves in the financial gutters once again, and it's as bad as ever. And they haven't got the levers there to pull this time. Looks down there, Man United's players best worst. If you want the best and worst players, I don't really know if I can pull that off because it's so hard to like compare a centre back to a centre forward. I guess look if we want to look at the best players all season, I don't even know. Look, the levels have been really low. The low's been very consistent. Hoyland's been really good in the last couple of weeks. Garnacho has been consistently good across most of the season, but even that comes in like flashes as well. Bruno Fernandes hasn't had the best season by his own standards. I don't know. Do you go Kobbie Mainoo? Is that the position we're in? I mean, if we want to talk worst players or most disappointing players, it's also hard to gauge as well because you've got players who we know aren't particularly good. You've got players who are big letdowns, and then you have players who you know they're trying their best, but their best just isn't good enough as well. So maybe I don't know. I think Anthony probably stats wise, I think well, 1 goal, 1 assist in like 30 matches this season is going to stand out as a bad one. Um, Lucky Singh's talking about Paul Pogba. Pogba's got the worst ego in your life. I mean, look, the Pogba thing was frustrating as well. Like, I feel like Pogba with the right manager could have been something. I genuinely think if Paul Pogba had Carlo Ancelotti as a manager at some point, he would have got the best out of him. I'm just picturing Pogba in that Bellingham role at the minute and thinking he would absolutely be tearing things up. But look, it is what it is with Paul Pogba. That's in the past. It's all about the future, and the future, of course, now is Aston Villa on Sunday. A big one, a must-win match. Have to go out there and win this one. So important that we do. If we manage to win this match, we find ourselves 5 points off the top four. It's as simple as that. 5 points off top four. That's achievable. We have to go on this big run in the next couple of weeks if we want to make that stick, though, because we play a lot of the top teams. Realistically, we have to beat Luton Town. We have to beat Aston Villa. That's non-negotiable. We have to beat Fulham. Man City away, anything can happen there. Probably get beat on current form anyway. Everton at home, we have to beat. What do we got? Brentford away, we have to go there and win. That's a really difficult tie. Sheffield United actually at home, that's must win. They're one of the worst teams in the league. Away to Stamford Bridge, you have to say we have to go there and win. Liverpool at Old Trafford, when they're probably going to be going for the league title at that point, is going to be a hell of a match. Bournemouth, again, have to beat Bournemouth away, have to beat Newcastle at home, you have to beat Burnley and Crystal Palace, and then you have to go in the last two matches against Arsenal and Brighton, and you have to win both those as well. So look, it's a big run in anyway. Charlie is down there. Let's forget about De Jong signing for United. He doesn't have the legs to run in the Premier League. Plus, his wages are huge. Let's bring back Dan Gore. That guy can be the next Paul Scholes. I think there's a real good player in Dan Gore. I'm not giving up on Dan Gore. I think De Jong probably has the legs for the Premier League. I think he could do it, but I think his heart's just going to be set somewhere else. And I think we have that bridge has been burned to the point we're not going to go back in for it. Surely, Chassport said, "What is Frankie's best position?" I mean, arguably you've got Kobbie Mainoo in that position now because you don't want to play De Jong as a number 6. He's not what we really. He won't bring the physicality I think we lack in that position. So I think we need a different profile. That's what we got to be going for anyway. We are up to 16 likes on the video as well, guys. Can we get up to 20 at some point? That would be really appreciated. I will have a look as well and see what the latest is for you guys just whilst we are sitting here as well. Let me see. I think there was something about Alvaro Fernandez I would like to bring you guys. If I can find that article, it does look to have disappeared from me. Let me double check this here. Benfica boss provides Alvaro Fernandez clarification. This is regarding a loan at the moment, so we'll bring you guys this. Alvaro Fernandez was benched by Benfica. He started his first game since signing on loan in the January transfer window. What else was said about Alvaro Fernandez? The defender had not started the game for Benfica until Thursday, and he has been an unused substitute twice. He was brought into the fold against Estoril and Gil Vicente. Benfica boss Roger Schmidt clarified United loanee's initial role and explains how he can break into the lineup at the back end of the season. He told the press Alvaro was doing well in training. He has already played a few minutes, but in the future he could play as a starter. He is working really hard, and he is a good and he is a good player capable of quickly understanding the behaviours needed. It's just a period of adaptation for him. I think that's pretty logical. I mean, he's coming into a new league, a new team midway through the season. It's not like he's had a full preseason. Guys, we are up to 19 likes as well. Big ups to that there one. Steph doesn't want to see any more mercenaries. Chessport would rather have the core. Look, if we go to Everton for anyone, it has to be either Jared Brantwood or Amade Onana. And if their financials are bad enough, get both. Like, seriously, that's what I'm saying. We are up to 19 likes as well on this video, guys. Let's see if we can hit 20. Would be really good, because I think we've only had 100 views on the video as well, so that could be 1 in 5 people. Sweeney wants to see Alvaro get minutes. Look, I like Alvaro. I think Alvaro Fernandez is a good left back, a good full back. Do I think he's exceptional? No, I don't. And I think we have a bigger talent in Harry Amas anyway. And I think he's potentially been moved on for that reason. So when he said, am I on TikTok? I had a TikTok at one point. I kind of stopped making TikToks and stuff. Because it's the thing is, I found with TikTok was it wasn't really much of like an audience on there for the kind of content I want to bring. Like, a lot of people do like top 5 lists, filter lists, and stuff. You know, I'm not that's not really what I wanted to do. Lucky is saying as well, Stephanie, players like Willie Cambuala will run for the badge. Yeah, look, I like Cambuala. I think he would be a lot further on right now if it wasn't for injuries. If he managed to have genuine fitness, he would be really, really far on. I still think there's a good player in there. I think physically really good, really strong, and on the ball, yeah, he's pretty solid. Like, we've even seen him fill in at right back. He's got the athleticism for it. So I wouldn't mind seeing more of Cambuala if it comes down to it. I think there's a really good crop of young players coming through at the moment. We do actually have some exciting updates to bring you guys on the academy. I will go into that. I'll go into it right now, actually. So I think it's Scott Williams. So he was formerly at the club working as some kind of recruitment role, but he has been brought back into the club as well. So Manchester United appoint Sam Williams from Ipswich, and this is confirmed by Laurie Whitwell and Samuel Luckhurst. Williams previously left United in 2022 to join Kieran McKenna as Ipswich lead scout. He will now undertake his role as Manchester United's lead academy scout for the under-16s through to the under-21s. It is another straight acquisition as part of the academy restructuring under Nick Cox. Williams will report to Luke Fedorenko, who was recently made head of academy recruitment. I think that's very exciting. I think that's very exciting, and that means we're going to have more players like Cambuala. We're going to have more players like Hannibal, like Garnacho, maybe coming from other academy systems around the world at that kind of 16 to 18 range, coming in, applying their craft at Manchester United, working on our academies and playing their way into the first team. I think it's a really shrewd way to do business. It's a really smart way to do business as well, because when we sign players into the academy like that, I think it goes down differently on FFP. I will have to go back into it, but I think we spent something like £10 million on Hannibal whenever we got him, and he went through that kind of system. So it's a smart idea. Let me see. Steph is saying, what am I doing a watch along? Yes, absolutely. Sweeney said, did content on TikTok 42.5k. I get what you mean about the type of content on there. I'm keen to do some YouTube too. Yeah, look, honestly, YouTube's it's my preference. Like, and I mean, yeah, look, I've been really enjoying doing my channel as well, man. Like, but I am on TikTok. I might start it back. If you guys would want me to start back to TikToks, let me know. Because I do want to bring some more shorts as well. But it is kind of hard to know what to do with shorts as well. Like, do I go and do dedicated short videos, or do I go back into live streams and maybe clip up things and put them in there that way? Like, I don't know what the best way to do that. Sweeney says that count as FFP. Sorry, homegrown, so it's great for FFP. Yeah, that's a smart idea. I think it's something we've got to be doing, and the academy investment at this moment in time is really good. You only have to look at that under 18s team. What, 14 matches played, 14 wins in the league. That's a genuine special crop of players coming through there. And I've been very, very impressed with what Nick Cox has been doing anyway, with Manchester United in the academy system. there is a fake rumor going about anyway at the moment. If you guys see it, you can discount it. But Harry Amas will not be in the squad for Villa on Sunday. We don't have to worry about that there one. Although it would be nice to see him. Sports said watch alongs seem to do good numbers. Yeah, I mean, people seem to come into watch alongs really for reactions and stuff, but I mean, it kind of makes sense. My normal stream's like 50 minutes and a watch along's like 2.5 hours, so there'll always be more people coming onto it just because it's a longer stream, but it is what it is, guys. Look, thanks so much for 20 likes on this video anyway. Potentially we'll be live tomorrow. I will post if I'm going to be live tomorrow. Will be a watch along on Sunday. I've also got some videos in the works coming out really soon. Just got to get some thumbnails and some final edits done. So hopefully going to be lots of content coming up on the channel over the next week or so. So make sure to stay tuned for that there one, guys. Thanks so much for joining in with me tonight. Have a good Saturday. Have a good Friday night as well. And I'll catch everybody in the next one.